on the box, we find the module very well packed. On one side we have two status LEDs, the Wi-Fi antenna port, and the DIP switches, which need to be set according to the provided instructions. This label shows how to set the DIP switches depending on the car model, media unit type, and whether or not the car is equipped with a factory reverse camera. I'll explain this in more detail during the installation. Here we also have the ports for the connections we are going to make using the cables that I'll show you in a moment. Everything is plug and play and each connector has its own dedicated port, so you cannot mix them up. Next we have the main wiring harness, which has two quad lock connectors, two white connectors, and the black aux connector, which we will connect to the dedicated port on the other wiring harness. Here we have the LVDS cable, which allows us to retain the car's original menu while also displaying the CarPlay and Android Auto interface. Now we move on to the other wiring harness, where we have the connectors and wires needed to connect an aftermarket reverse camera and even a front one. I'll leave a video tutorial in the description in case you're interested. Here we also have two black connectors, one for the microphone, which we won't connect to anything, and the other for the aux connection I mentioned earlier. We also have the USB port for wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well for media playback, but I won't be using it since the module supports wireless connectivity. For the wireless connection we also have, of course, the Wi-Fi antenna, which will allow the phone to connect to CarPlay and Android Auto without cables. Finally, we also have the instruction manual, which is very detailed and contains information about both the installation and the use of the module's features. I won't spend too much time on it because we will go through all the necessary installation and configuration steps together. That is everything included in the box. Let's move on to installing the module. To access the car's media unit, we will need to remove the passenger seat on the right or left side depending on the position of the steering wheel. For this we will need a E12 socket. First we remove the two bolts at the front and then continue with the two at the rear. After removing the bolts, we continue by removing the door seal trim. To make this easier, I use the trim removal tool. Next, we remove the two plastic screws that secure the floor carpet using a Phillips screw. Once they are removed, we can lift the carpet, and behind it we have the media unit. Next, we unclip this air vent. Then remove the two screws you can see here. In this space we will hide the module at the end so that nothing remains visible. Now we can start making the connections. First we unplug the quad lock connector from the media unit by releasing the clip and pulling the lever outward. After that we also remove this video connector by pressing the clip located at the bottom, which I'll show you in a moment. Then we take the main wiring harness and connect the original quad lock connector to the aftermarket one. We secure it by lifting the lever, then insert the other quad lock connector into the media unit and secure it in the same way by lifting the lever. Next we connect the white connectors from the main wiring harness to their dedicated ports on the module. After that we take the other wiring harness and connect the white connector to the corresponding port on the module. Now we connect the aux connectors and secure the connection with adhesive tape. Now we move on to the LVDS cables. We take the original LVDS cable and connect it to the LVDS out port, while the aftermarket LVDS cable is connected both to the module and to the original unit, exactly as illustrated in the video. All that remains is to connect the Wi-Fi antenna, and all the connections are complete. Before continuing, we will have to set the DIP switches. Check the instructions on the label and set the DIP switches as follows. If the car is equipped with a factory reverse camera, set switch number 1 to on. Set switch number 2 to on for Land Rover models, and set switch number 3 to on if the car is equipped with the 8-inch Harman media unit. The position of switch number 4 depends on whether the car has a high-speed or low-speed head unit. If there is no label on the unit indicating the type, first try setting switch number 4 to off. If the module's menu does not appear on the screen when you press the switching button, set switch number 4 to on. Then disconnect the CAN power connector for a few seconds and plug it back in. Long press the switching button on the steering wheel and the modules menu should appear on the screen. Now, using an 8mm socket, we will remove the two bolts securing the media unit. We continue by releasing these side clips as well using a pair of pliers. Now we need to remove the original LVDS cable from this wiring bundle so we can route it behind the unit where we will position the module. To do this, I'll start by cutting these zip ties using a pair of side cutters. After that, using a utility knife, I'll cut the adhesive tape holding the cables together so I can release the LVDS cable. I then route the LVDS cable behind the unit and secure the media unit back in its original position. I hide the cables next to the air vent, then secure the Wi-Fi antenna in a suitable position. I connect the original LVDS cable to the module, and at this point all the connections are complete. As you can see, the module is very well hidden and protected under the seat. All that remains is to reinstall all the parts we removed. I won't show you the entire process because it is basically the reverse of the removal process, so we'll move directly to showing the module's features. Hey Siri, drive to London.
Getting driving directions to London using Waze.
Hey Siri, play no copyright music on YouTube Music.
Now playing no copyright on YouTube Music.
This is how the AUTOABC module works on this 2016 Range Rover Evoque. As you could see, the module is very fast and responds very well to commands, and the installation was one of the simplest I've done so far, being basically plug and play and without requiring any permanent modifications to the car.